Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. Today we're going to talk about something pretty cool, Goodreads. I feel like Goodreads is kind of bad.
No way!
I want to talk about it. I wrote a nice little list of things. Now, when I'm saying Goodreads is bad in a way, because there's like a other app called Fable, and I'm going to tell you guys, I thought about switching over to it. But Goodreads is like a toxic relationship where it's like you've been with them for so long and you just can't leave. That's how I feel. I've been a member of Goodreads since I was like 20. When I first got back into reading at like 20, I think 20 or 21. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm almost 30 now and I can't leave. It's just like a toxic relationship. I just can't leave. And I keep coming back. I'm like, Goodreads will change. It'll be better. And it just never changes. It's never better. So I'm just stuck with it. And I know Fable's way better. Fable has all the things that I think Goodreads should do. And it blows my mind with Goodreads as well, before I even talk about this list. But Goodreads is owned by Amazon, which is that started off like a book website, but they don't do anything about Goodreads. Like Goodreads seriously looks like MySpace from like 2002. Just how bad it is. There's some elements of Goodreads I do like, but it's very few. I think there's probably two things I like. One thing I like about Goodreads is every time you click on the app and it opens up and you get to see a quote from an author. That's really cool. The other thing I like about Goodreads is I like how you can do giveaways for your books. I think that's a really, really cool thing. Now I'm going to tell you, everything I'm going to talk about Goodreads, I don't know if Fable does or doesn't do any of this. So let me know down below. I'm not downloading it. I refuse. I'm sticking with Goodreads until it dies. Until I die or they give up on Goodreads. I don't know. I will not switch just because it's a toxic relationship and I cannot leave. I like those two elements of Goodreads. Now, have I tried this giveaway yet for Goodreads? No, I kind of want to. It's like $100, but you can give away like 100 copies, digital copies of your book, which is really cool. Goodreads. What did he say? Goodreads kind of pushes those readers, if they have it on their TBR, if they're trying to read it, they push them to make sure they leave reviews of it on Amazon and on Goodreads, which I do like. So I kind of want to try it. Maybe in the new year, I'll test it out. Maybe after like Christmas and stuff, I will try it out. I think that's a really cool thing. And $100 for 100 downloads isn't like, I don't know. It's just weird, but you gotta try what you gotta try. Anyways, let's get into this list and go from there. First thing on this list is they need to update the rating system. Every single person under the sun all knows what I'm talking about. Give us those damn half stars, Goodreads. Why can't we have those half stars? Give us quarter stars, like make it all of it. So Letterboxd, for example, and I'm going to compare Letterboxd a lot to this because I actually like how Letterboxd rolls. Letterboxd, for example, gives half stars. Pretty simple. Goodreads needs to give us those damn half stars. It drives me nuts because I hate when I tell people, oh, my book is, I rated this, we'll say a 4.5 out of 5. But on Goodreads, I can only give it a 4 or a 5. And those half stars are really important because there's a book I just gave a couple weeks ago, 2.5 stars, but because I had to bump it up to 3 because that half star really is just like important because if you give it a 2, the book is just not as good. But if you give it a 3, it's down the middle. It's a little better than like half. Like a 2.5 is to me like a C. It's an average, but like a 3 is like a C plus and a 2 is like a D. You know, so that C is really important. Those half stars are important. And I just don't know why Goodreads just doesn't do it. Like, dude, you guys have like all the power. You guys are in one of the biggest companies of the world. Update the dang thing. Like I'm super against AI, but just have AI do it, I guess. I don't know. If it's that hard, I don't think it is, but what do I know? What do I know? They also need to change another part of the rating system. They need to change the early rating system, aka ARC reading rating. When I say that, because I literally could grab the newest book for Dresden Files, right? I haven't read it. I can already give it a rating, even if I have never read it. I think Goodreads should do something where it proves that you read the book. So for me, I had Newtown and I use this website called Book Sirens for ARC readers. And a lot of these ARC readers posted their reviews of it on Goodreads, which is awesome. Problem is, for that was fine. I mean, the thing is, I just feel like they need to prove that you have read the book some way. I don't know how, but there should be a reason why. Why I say that is because I saw when Brandon Sanderson came out with the Stormlight Archive 5, it wasn't even out yet, right? It was like 6 months before it was like a year before. It just popped up and people already were leaving like 1-star reviews, 2-star reviews, stuff like that. And their comments why they left the review is, oh, the book's not out yet. I haven't read it. And it's like, why would you leave a review? I'm not a big fan of how they do that. Why should you let somebody leave reviews on a book that they haven't even read yet? It just doesn't make sense to me, especially when it hasn't even come out yet. For me as an author, if someone, like if I was releasing, we'll say, my new standalone, and it comes out, I don't know, fall of next year, and I have people like, wow, I don't like Zach on booktube, so I'm gonna give all of this book a 1 star, even if I've never read it. And there's a way that I could, like, because me personally, I can give people digital copies of my books, and I would know those people are the ones that read it. But it's like, if someone who doesn't like me can just leave really bad reviews on my book before it's even out, I'm not a big fan of that either. How could they change it? I'm not too sure. I think there should be a way to prove that they read it. Like, maybe the author, when he sends like his ARC, should have like a little code, you know, something like that. Like Goodreads could have like a code or something. Like if someone read The Battle of Evermore and say this book was coming out, I don't know, in 3 months, and I have like a code, it's called like code TBOE, I don't know. Only the people who read the ARCs know the code, and then they could just submit with a code. I think that's just better, because like I said, if you don't like the author, you could just give that book a really bad star before it's even out. Now, after the book's released, sure, post what you gotta do, post your reviews, post your ratings. That's different, and that's just how I look at it. It really bothers me, because I saw, like, and Goodreads has this thing where it doesn't show the cover, but they'll show like Brandon Sanderson, book 6 of the Stormlight Archive, and there's already ratings on it. And I'm like, the book's not even out. He hasn't even announced when it's coming out. And there's people that leave reviews and the book's like 3.5 stars out of 5 already. I'm like, how? So that's how my mind's been working. I'm not a big fan of that either. This one needs to be important. And my little sister, I texted her and asked her, and she put this one down, and I 100% agree. Goodreads needs to add replies. Someone read my book and left an awesome review. They gave it a 4 out of 5. I was so happy, and they wrote a really nice review, and I commented on it and said, thanks for the review, blah, blah, blah. But there's no reply button. So they choose, and you can't even like their comment. It's so odd. So like, there's a couple people that comment on my books when I update a book I'm reading, or I add a book to my TBR, and people will like it, which is fine. And people will comment, but I cannot reply. There's no reply button. I have to put my own comment under it, and they don't get a notification of it. It's so stupid. I feel like that's just like the first thing you should add to your thing, to like, oh, this is kind of like a social media thing. We should add more to it, and that's one of it. Why is that now? Why do we not have the reply button on Goodreads? It seems so stupid. Like, I couldn't imagine having like Instagram, and I posted an Instagram photo, right, or whatever. I post a picture of my face going, and someone comments and says, wow, nice thumbs up, and I click to respond, and I can't reply, so I just comment under and say, thanks, man, and they never get the response. It just seems so weird. It's just so odd, and I'm not a big fan of how Goodreads does that. And like I said, it's like MySpace from 2002. It just works. It feels like such a old app. Even though it's not. I think it came out in like 2011 or something, which when it first came out, that's fine, but I feel like it hasn't changed. They updated some things, the logo, but nothing else has changed. And I just was not a big fan of this. I'm like, what are you doing, Goodreads? This was a pretty quick one. I've been saying this a lot throughout this video. Should update it and not make it feel like 2002 MySpace. Now, some things I feel like they should do differently too in this is when they update it, I feel like, this is going to sound really weird, they should take the approach. Now, I feel like Goodreads could actually almost abuse this in a way. They could make it kind of like TikTok, where you could post short videos of books you're reading, do quick little reviews of it, and still do the rating system. Should it be exactly like TikTok? No, because everything's just becoming short form. But I feel like if you update Goodreads and make it kind of like a TikTok form where you can post pictures on your book, like someone could post a picture of this and tag the author in it, post like a video, me being like, oh, this was such a fun book, I gave it a 5 out of 5 for these reasons, stuff like that. You could give it a little more oomph in it, and you give the more videos, like, it doesn't have to be long videos, it can be 5-second videos, or it can add video, like photos to it. And the other thing is they need to make the rewards of getting to your goal feel better. They used to do it where if you read it certain times, you'd become like a marathon man or whatever, but now the stuff is just not very good. And they're trying to get you to read classics, but the classics I don't think are very good. I think the book recommendations are just not very good either. But while I'm reading and thinking about this stuff, I go through Goodreads. I probably use Goodreads maybe once a day because I always like to check reviews for my books, for one. And then I will usually update once in a blue moon. But I used to use their thing for recommendations when I first got into reading. And I realized just how trash they are at it. I think it's just not good. For me, I feel like they should add, like, the update. I think it would be cool to see people post pictures. Like, someone's going like, oh my gosh. Like, what they do. Like, I feel like Goodreads could take big advantage of, like, how Instagram and Twitter and TikTok does all the book stuff. Goodreads is literally a reading app. Why would you not take advantage of all these other things? Like, you could probably do really, really well at doing it. That's just how I look at it. I also think they should add links to it. So it's like, if I post a book review and say, oh, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5. Here's my YouTube link to watch the full review of it. It would actually make the traction be better. This is all just me. I mean, I'm just thinking a lot. I sat down and wrote some things of how I would change it, but that's just me. The next one on this list is the recommendations are trash. I don't think the recommendations are really good. If you pick like a horror novel, the horror novels they recommend you are usually all like newer books. None of them are older books, and the classic section is just so weird and wonky. My fiance and I were talking about this last night. She works at a hospital, and she wants to build like a little library for kids. And she was asking me, she's like, Zach, what's some books for teenage boys? And I got I kind of want to do another video, because I did a video a couple months ago about modern publishing hates male readers. And I was explaining to her why I feel like it does, because it doesn't target, there's no books for teenage boys hardly anymore. No newer books, it doesn't feel like. Anyways, that's probably for a video for the future. Anyways, so she was looking up on Goodreads. Goodreads recommendations for teenage boys. One was Credence.
Jesus Christ.
If you guys know Credence, you would be like, why is this for teenagers in general? This is not for teenagers. It's not at all. Like, I was like, why is this here? Because this book makes me so disgusted. It's incest, it's gross, it's just a terrible book. So to me, I'm like, why? And there's other books in there that I kind of agree with, but I'm also like, I don't know. Like, she was like, why is Dune there? Dune, I think, is really good for young boys to read, but I don't know. I feel like Goodreads does a terrible job at recommendations. Like, for me, I did like Lord of the Rings, and they recommended just random things like Percy Jackson because I like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, what? Or if I liked Harry Potter, it would recommend me, I don't know, some random book that I'm like, that has nothing to do with Harry Potter, so why would I like this book? I just think the recommendations are really trash too. This is the last one in here. And this one, I mean, I haven't seen it in a minute, but this one does bother me. And it's all by popularity, clearly, but how they do books of the year kind of thing. It's not very good. I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, I remember they did Game of Thrones was one of the books of the year. What? I think they should do book of the years should be like the newest book or a classic book that just came back and, stuff like that. Their voting system should be genre based. So when you do fantasy, it should be fantasy. And then you have romantasy as its own genre and romance as its own genre, literary fiction, stuff like that. Because then you will show more diverse of different books that people would like. Like, to me, Fourth Wing won Best Fantasy Novel of the Year, I think, when it was super hot. And it's like, that's a romantasy genre book. Why is this in fantasy? It's one of those things. Like, yes, it is fantasy, but it's more romantasy kind of thing, so it should be in the romantasy section. And then you should have fantasy and it kind of strips away other books that are really good just for that same genre. And say, like me, I want to read fantasy books, and then I look, what's the best fantasy book that came out last year? And it says Fourth Wing, and then I see it's a romantasy novel too, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to read that. And same thing, it's like Akhtar's on there, Throne of Glass is on there. A lot of romantasy books are on there, and it's like, it should be in its own genre. So then you have the fantasy, then you have horror, then you have thriller. You have all these other genres to show everybody what kind of books are really popular, and then you can go based on voting. Like, for me, I only voted one time, and I'm pretty sure it had a Stephen King novel on there, and that's why I voted for like his horror novel, and it was The Institute, which was not a very good horror novel. I'm pretty sure it's not really considered horror. I think it's more of like sci-fi thriller. But why is that in horror? Just because it's Stephen King? You know, it's one of those things. So I never really thought about it. And I thought maybe Goodreads should do like a point system that, say, if you read a certain amount of books, you get points, and those points can go towards like bigger votes and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, you should get rewarded for some things. I don't know. Like, for me as an indie author, if they asked, if you are a writer and you leave reviews, say I read 150 books last year, right? Say I get, I don't know, 10 points. I don't know. You can use those points and use it for like a discount to promote your own book on there. So say like it's $100 for your promotion, right? Say I get, at the end of the year, I get 150 points. That's 15% off of it. Stuff like that to really help indie authors. Because like I said, Goodreads is literally a book account, like a book app. I don't know. I just look at these kind of things and I really think about it. And it really bothers me because I like Goodreads. But like I said, I feel like I'm in a toxic relationship because I just think Goodreads is just utter trash, and I just don't know if it'll ever change. If you guys made it to the end of this very long ranty video, let me know down below, and do you agree with what I think about Goodreads, or do you, well, disagree? I would love to know down below, what do you think should be changes for Goodreads? Do you think Goodreads should just die and we should just all move to Fable? I like to say it's Fabled. I don't know exactly. I'm not giving up on Goodreads. I would love it. Maybe if this video picks up and maybe some people that work for Goodreads or something sees it, we just need some changes. I think Goodreads is a really good app, and I think it's a really fun way for people to read and try to stick to their goals. I feel like it's really a boring app, and you got to make reading fun and accessible for everybody. And if you're going to make it super boring, no one's not going to stick with it. That's just how I look at it. So I would love to know what your thoughts and comments are down below. And last but not least, make sure you guys stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.